Trump is a creepy creepster, and every time he tries to compliment his press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, it gets creepier. So we already played on this show Trump talking about how Karoline Leavitt's lips, they move like a machine gun. Well, he had a round 2 of him attempting to compliment. There's so many ways I would never compliment her. But if you believe she's not the dishonest propagandist that she is, which Trump doesn't, or he does, but he likes how she is, you could come up with she's so intelligent and she clashes with the media so effectively and she's so young but still so successful and understands what she's talking about. But instead he starts making it about her lips. And so I'll show you the second example of this recently. And then we have a lot in this segment to talk about, but let's kind of get the context. This was the initial time.
She's on my list. Karoline Leavitt.
She's become a star. It's that face, it's that brain, it's those lips, the way they move like she's a machine gun. Is she in the room?
She's in the room.
And of course, that created this video that we put together. Let's see.
She's become a star. It's that face, it's that brain, it's those lips, the way they move like she's a machine gun.
Watch. Yep. We did that. And so he doubled down. And he said this while we watch. Please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate this show. One of the simplest, easiest ways to do so.
I don't get along with the weak ones. I get along with the tough ones. I don't know what that is, but Erdogan's been great with me. You know, when NATO has a problem with Erdogan, which they often do, they call me to talk to him. And I've never failed in working it out like immediately. Is that right?
It's true.
How's Karoline doing? Is she doing good?
How you doing?
Should Karoline be replaced? Huh?
That's up to you, sir.
It'll never happen.
Nobody wants to
It'll
stick
never
up for
happen.
me?
Look.
Great job. Thank you, Kate.
Do you want that face
elaborate on
and those, Katie, and those lips, they move like a machine gun, right?
Do you want to elaborate on the
In that time, it didn't just like slip out of his mouth. He really, hey, Katie, listen. Hey, also, who said you're doing a great job? Whichever report, if it's not Brian Glenn, if it's someone else, like an actual reporter, I don't think they should be the reporter anymore with Trump. Leavitt's doing a great job, really? Have you ever gotten a straight answer from her? Look at this. He really wanted us to hear.
wants to stick up for me? Great job. Thank you, Kate. Do you want
that
to
face
elaborate on
and those, Katie, and those lips, they move like a machine gun, right?
Do you want to elaborate on the
Yeah, whatever the heck that means. And then at his presser, now this is off the topic of Karoline Leavitt, but just watch him as he, watches a female reporter.
Let's go.
As China deepens its presence in Latin America, what will you see for the U.S.?
I just like to watch her talk.
I just like to watch her talk.
Sorry, no?
Good job.
Okay, thank you.
Good job. Thank you, darling.
Something just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I have to be. It's gross. Then sticking with that press conference, now we're off of that gross topic, but to Trump, because George Stephanopoulos dared to slopodopolize JD Vance. Trump is not taking questions from ABC.
Your ABC fake news. I don't want. Go ahead, Brian, please.
First of all, congratulations.
I don't take questions from ABC fake news after what you did with Stephanopoulos to the Vice President of the United States. I don't take questions from ABC fake news. Brian.
So we covered that, but he just fact-checked Vance, and it was the end of the segment, so then they mute Vance's mic, and that was just absolutely horrific, according to Meghan McCain, according to Trump. Then Trump is rambling about Biden, and listen to what he says about Hunter Biden.
That auto pen thing is under serious investigation. Just this, I don't think you care because you're from Argentina. You couldn't care less about that. But I just want to say, because I do the weave, you know, the weave, cover a lot of different subjects. But the people that are involved in that auto pen scam because he barely signed anything. I mean, this guy, I don't know how you can be president. He barely signed it, but the only thing we can find for sure is that he signed Hunter's Biden.
Yeah. He signed Hunter's Biden. Okay.
We can find for sure is that he signed Hunter's Biden, his pardon. Hunter's Biden, I like that. That's a good combination.
Yeah, and you know, when I heard that Hunter's Biden, I was thinking, I feel like I've seen Hunter's Biden before. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene showed us Hunter's Biden. You remember this? Here, I should probably cut this really, really long black bar that was censoring out Hunter's Biden. So there's that. Now, this was at a meeting with Argentinian officials because Javier Milei, the Argentinian president, is there to accept the financial support from the U.S. because Trump just wants to help out Milei and his political situation. And so you have this.
Mr. President, was China trying to draw a wedge between the U.S. and Argentina by buying soybeans from Argentina and not U.S. farmers?
I would say so.
And China on the port fees.
China
they've
likes to
increased
draw
port fees on
wedges.
U.S. ships, too.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess that's natural. It's China, and it's natural, but it's not gonna mean anything in the end.
Mr. President.
I mean, it's kind of crazy that while our farmers, specifically soybean farmers, are suffering because China, in response to your trade war, is cutting off purchases of American soybeans, that then they're going to Argentina for it, which is benefiting Argentina, hurting us, but then you're bailing out Argentina. That's kind of a weird series of events. But Trump goes, I don't know. Actually, I do know farmers would be very irritated to see that being the casual response to the damage that's being done to them, a real crisis for them. Then you have this.
An honor to have you here, and I just want to tell you that your career has been an amazing one, and it's going to continue with the election. You're going to win the election. We're going to endorse you. I'm going to endorse you today. Fully endorse you, and people in Argentina like me. A lot of people like me. I'm even surprised myself.
That's what this is about. The financial support is the exact same thing as his endorsement, and Trump just can't get enough of Milei. That is the aforementioned president. Of course, I pitched the idea that we could give the money or do the currency thing, but a little stipulation is that he never does another concert again. If your economy is struggling and that's why you need our support, let's focus on that. Let's do a little less rehearsals for your concert. No, if I were ever in politics, I would want to be able to do concerts like that. I shouldn't say that. That's a little hypocritical. But then you have Trump saying if Kamala would have been elected, the dollar would have been crushed. What's funny is he brings this up after a reporter asks a question that clearly Trump doesn't understand.
Mr. President, would you support dollarization?
I would say that I'll leave that up to my economic people, but I like the dollar. I'm very strong on the dollar. And anybody who wants to deal in dollars, they have an advantage over people that aren't. But for the most part, we're keeping it that way. I think if Biden would have, that group would have gotten elected, meaning Kamala, you wouldn't have the dollar as your currency anymore. You wouldn't have a world domination by the dollar if I didn't win this election. And now the domination like BRICS. I told anybody who wants to be in BRICS, that's fine, but we're going to put tariffs on your nation.
So the dollar would not be dominating like it currently is. Jaden, would you read this? Would you read this headline for me?
The U.S. dollar has its worst start to the year since 1973.
These motherfuckers are crazy.
Thank you, Kamala. Thank you. Then, a part of Trump's weave, he seems to assert that Democrats, if they had the chance, would be murdering people with Tomahawk missiles who are Republicans inside the United States.
Ukraine? We'll be talking about Ukraine, yeah. I mean, I have the president coming in on Friday, and I know what he has to say. He wants weapons. He would like to have Tomahawks. Everyone else wants Tomahawks. And we have a lot of Tomahawks. Tomahawk is do you need any Tomahawks in Argentina?
You can cross Moscow, Tomahawks.
You need them for your opposition, I guess, because see, in this country, they'd use Tomahawks for the opposition. I don't do that. I'm much nicer. The Democrats would use them if they had the chance. They're sick people. Go ahead.
Hey, what the hell did you just say? Is there a chance he doesn't know what a tomahawk is? You're saying that Biden did have the chance. He was the president. He could have, but he didn't. He's saying that Democrats, if they had the chance because they're sick people, would strike Republicans with Tomahawk missiles. Oh my gosh. And then on the topic of the peace plan, he says this, and specifically Hamas.
How long will it take Hamas to disarm, and can you guarantee that is going to happen?
Well, they're going to disarm, and because they said they were going to disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them.
How will you do that?
I don't have to explain that to you. But if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games.
So as I laid out to you yesterday, I am trying to be as hopeful as I can. I obviously want and will applaud whoever necessary if we can get lasting peace. But as I was a little nervous about after the positive development of phase one, what comes next, we're starting to see some cracks. Reuters reports on the Hamas carrying out waves of Gaza killings against their opponents, against groups that have tested its grip, and appearing to get a U.S. nod to temporarily police the shattered enclave. And then you had this headline as well in terms of the fear we have that this could quickly fall apart. Israel's planning to cut the number of aid trucks going into Gaza by 50% and limit assistance to the war-torn area, the Associated Press reported, citing that, as Trump did too, that the deceased bodies of hostages have not been returned. So on a couple fronts, reasons to be concerned that we won't see the full manifestation of peace here, again, as a lot of people warned of, but that could change, and I hope that it does. And then you have this.
Will you consider removing new restrictions on the press that report at the Pentagon? And have you spoken to Secretary Hegseth about this?
I have, yeah. Well, he's finding, I think I can speak for him. I'll let him speak for himself, but I think he finds the press to be very disruptive in terms of world peace and maybe security for our nation. Press is very disarming.
So initially, you might remember when Hegseth announced that he was going to try to implement the restrictions to the press of the Pentagon, making them sign on to only reporting on information authorized by the Pentagon, which would ruin the whole point. We can just have your spokespeople tell us that information. The reporters are supposed to get the other information that you haven't necessarily officially commissioned. And all of these news organizations, including like Newsmax, Fox News, are saying we're not doing this. And they're standing next to the liberal outlets who are saying we can't do this. It would ruin our ability to report. And initially Trump went, no, that's silly. And now he seems to be going, well, I mean, maybe Hegseth has his reasons, as you heard there. Then Trump kind of just rambles his way into saying that his legs are thicker than Biden's.
Would you like to visit Argentina soon? There is an invitation for that.
What does that mean?
Do you like to visit Argentina soon?
I do. I would love to. I'm just a little busy. I would love to. I'd love to go to Argentina. I'd like to be like Biden. I'd like to go to the beach. My legs are not quite as thin as his. My legs are slightly heavier. My arms are slightly larger. My body is a little bit larger than his. I'm not sure it would be appreciated on the beach, but I'm not going to take a chance. You won't see me in a bathing suit. You won't see a bathing suit sitting on a beach in Argentina, falling down, not being able to lift a 3-ounce chair, meant for old people to lift, and he couldn't lift it, so we had a problem.
That's probably the 10th time that Trump has reflected on Biden's beach adventures. And I just want to say, this is what he's referring to. Leave the guy alone. Let him go to the beach. You've taken everything else from him. Look, let him
life, liberty, pursuit of
be. What is your obsession? Yeah, your legs would look a little less flattering, I'm sure, Trump. This is a sick thing for me to say. I think I would like to see Trump at the beach. Picture, whatever's going on under the suit, he would have a bathing suit on. I'm just saying, like, he talks so much about how great his body is, and it's better than Obama's, it's better than Biden's. Let Biden be. Why are you putting those on screen? Let him be. Let the man be. He's at the beach. Let him go to the beach. But say what you will. What? What? This is just fun. What do you think Trump would look like? Imagine his
McDonald's cheeseburger
body, pale as could be, up until here, and then orange. And then hands, he puts makeup on too. So it would be orange, 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 pale. I'd pay to see that. It would be disturbing, but I would look at it like a car wreck. So let it go, Trump. This is the time when Biden could go to the beach.